Hello, welcome to another video on Back of the Net. I'm here with the main man himself. Teach, how are you?
Good mate, got beer in hand, out in the sunshine.
Beautiful days. And look, we're on the EFL trail once again. We wanted it to be in the Premier League, but look, we think we're going to win the league, right? But there are 23 other teams in our way, and maybe we're not going to win the league because it's going to be a difficult season, an unknown season for us.
Yeah, no, I think so. It's like I say, we want to be there or thereabouts, which I'm sure we'll come on to, but yeah, it's going to be difficult, and it is a little bit more unknown for us because, you know, this new era, new Scott Parker project or whatever you want to call it, but excited to see, and you know, fans are back now, mate, so I'm excited, just looking forward to getting back into the stadiums and watch some football.
So we've got a tier list, but not only have we got a tier list, we're going to tell you where we think your team is going to finish in the league positionally as well. Yeah, double bubble. And we've got 6 categories for you. You can see them there on screen. They are autos, that means you're going to be first or second, of course. You've got playoffs, top 10, and then you've got mid-table fodder, that's anything between 11th and 17th. Then you have 4 sides flirting with relegation, plus see ya as well. There are going to be 3 teams that are going to be going down to League One. Hopefully we're not one of them, and if you are a fan of a championship club, let us know what you think about how we have predicted your fate, and feel free to subscribe as well, because look, when we're coming to your place, we're going to do a match day vlog, and also we're going to do a whole lot of content where we'll either praise you or we'll be really bitter like Jeff.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can't imagine what you're alluding to there, Sam.
He's never bitter. Brentford fans know about that. Right, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go through in alphabetical order. Okay, we could have done it from like 24th to 1st or whatever, but we're not. We're going to keep it random, and the first club then we're going to go to is a team that were in the playoffs last season, mate. Barnsley.
Oh, okay.
Barnsley. Really tricky because they've lost their manager, haven't they?
They have, and I think, you know, as much as the players deserve a lot of credit, I thought he was a big part of that. I remember, you know, got a lot of praise, and rightly so, and he was a manager that I kind of looked down for. Could we maybe tempt him? Because I mean, he was linked a little bit, but was a brilliant manager, and now they've got a kind of an unknown manager in terms of over here anyway. Shop, is it Shop?
Yeah, Shop, yeah.
Managing Austria and things like that. So, but to be fair, you know, they'll say that, well, no one really knew Ishmael before he come here. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do. They done unbelievably last year, I felt. I don't think they're going to be able to get into playoffs again, but, you know, maybe they will. But I think losing that manager is going to be big for them and hit them hard. But they've still got a decent squad, they've still got some good players in there, so I'm going to go for top 10. I'm going to put them in 10th.
In 10th?
Yeah.
So they're in top 10. And look, they are 5-1, and last season, of course, they finished 5th. Yeah, new manager should be really interesting to see how they do. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. That's where we think you're going to finish. Now, there's a team, right, that we always visit, and we always win. In fact, we've never lost at their ground, ever. Ever. And we had a certain 8-0 there, Tom.
I think I might know who it is then.
Yeah, I think you might. Birmingham City.
Difficult one with Birmingham because Lee Bowyer's there now, and I quite rate him as a manager. I think what he done at Charlton went under the radar a little bit. Quite like him as a manager. But Birmingham, I mean, you have to base a lot of this on how we've performed against them when we see them, and, you know, up close and personal, and we just steamrolled, like you say, that record there. So we've always done well against Birmingham, which makes you. And they struggled last season, just stayed up really. But new manager and things like that, I do think they're going to struggle. But maybe because of the Bowyer factor, I feel like they'll probably have enough to be okay. But I think they'll be flirting with it. So I'm going to go for 20th, flirting with relegation.
20th, flirting with relegation. Interesting. Now they are 12-1 to go up, and look. What is it about playing Birmingham City that you just absolutely love? What I mean, obviously there's the 8-0s, there's the relentless wins at St Andrews alone. I mean, you know, Coventry as well, we've beaten them there, but yeah, I don't know what it is. Certain clubs you just play going into that with full confidence, but they should be a lot bigger than what they are, really. I mean, they should be rivaling Villa, and I know they had that, you know, bit where they were in the same division together, but
they won. It don't feel that long ago. I can't remember the year when they won the League Cup against Arsenal in the final, and you're thinking that they have dropped, and I just it's difficult because you want to look at that, like you say, Birmingham as a football club, and I always like going there, and they're a nice club and things like that, and they're a big club, really, but you just got to look at the playing side of it. I just don't think they're that strong anymore. I don't think they've got that many players that stand out, and like I say, when we played them last season, which is the best we can go off, I thought they were a bit of a walkover, and I remember it was Woodgate's first game, and I thought that's the perfect, and I almost feel like the board went for Woodgate then because they thought that's an easy start, because I just don't think they've got much in them at all. But like I say, I think I have a little bit too much because I do rate Lee Bowyer.
Blackburn Rovers.
Blackburn
What about
Rovers?
them? How are they going to do this season?
Well, they're a team. I think even I can't remember exactly. I think last season I thought they'd do better than they did. I think the season before I thought they'd do better than they did. They always seem to come a little bit lower than I expect them to.
Wasn't it the start of last season where they were scoring goals for fun and they were outscoring teams massively, and a big part of that was obviously their striker?
Yeah, we looked into that, and it was I think they scored a lot more goals than Swansea, for example, who got in the playoffs. But they just conceded too many, and we played them on the opening day, and it was a goal fest, wasn't it? And yeah, like you say, Adam Armstrong, that's going to be the key. Is it at the moment when recording this, he's still a Blackburn player, but there has been murmurings, because there's always going to be, because he was just behind Ivan Toney. I'm pretty sure he scored more than Pookie. So he's lethal, and I do rate him. If they keep hold of him, they've got to be. If you keep someone of that calibre, then you've got to be knocking on the door. Whether they keep him or not, but yeah, I always watch them and think they look quite good, and then I look at the League Table and go, oh, they didn't finish as high as I thought. But they had goals in them. So again, but I've been burnt before. I keep saying they're going to make the playoffs and they never do. So I'm going to go kind of underhit it this time. So I'm going to go for 11th. So I'm going to go mid-table fodder, actually.
11th, mid-table fodder, and they are 7-1. So let's drop them in there. Okay, that's Blackburn Rovers. So next then, it's Blackpool. Now, Tom, after this we should be doing Bournemouth, of course, but you know what? I think we should keep our subscribers waiting. So Bournemouth will come between now and the end of the video, but not necessarily straight after Blackpool. And look, Blackpool, I'm going to do this one for you, mate. So I know in last season's video, you got a lot of negative comments by saying a certain team will go down. So you know what, I'm going to do this for you, and I think Blackpool, they probably will get the wooden spoon this season. I think, look, judging by the nature of they qualified via the playoffs, they are the kind of team in the lowest position from the off, if that makes any sense. And look, they're going to be up against it. I know that Neil Critchley has instilled this kind of fast, free-flowing brand of football at Bloomfield Road that's gone down really popular with many, but I just feel as though there's a little bit of inexperience. I think they've tried to counteract that by getting pros like Richard Keogh in, who was at Derby for some time. However, I just think it's going to be too much for them. You know what, I would probably say the same for Peterborough as well. Not so much Hull. However, yeah, in my opinion, mate, I think sadly it's going to be last place for Blackpool, and they're going to finish in 24th spot. So they're going to be dropped into C. I've taken that one off your hands, mate, so all the flack's going to come my way, of course. Now, Tom, Bristol City, they finished 19th last season. They were up there, but they absolutely tanked last season. They were up there, and they were talking about promotion and stuff, and then I didn't see a fall from grace quite like that in a long time. I mean, they finished in 19th, was it, last season?
It was mad. I mean, I remember when they got Nigel Pearson, we thought we missed a trick here. And then they won a few games, or started relatively well, and we thought they're going to end up finishing above us, and we should have got Pearson. Then we played them, and it was a big weird. I think it was the one that kind of did it come off like Carter Vickers' bum or whatever. That game,
yes, it did. Yeah,
midweek,
yeah.
I think. And and they just went like that, didn't they? I couldn't believe they finished as low as they did, because it felt like they weren't far away from us. I do still think Pearson's a decent manager, and I think he'll gain respect from the players and stuff like that. I'm not going to act like I know a lot about their, the players they've got available and things like that. I've always felt like Bristol City are a bit of a sleeping giant. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't remember the last time as a club in Bristol ever been in the top flight. I mean, not in my lifetime.
It's a big enough city.
Yeah.
To have a top flight side, I think they're more likely than Rovers. Let's be fair.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Bristol City are a lot bigger nowadays. But yeah, from what I saw last season and players they've got available, I don't see them pull up any trees, to be honest. I think the Pearson factor will mean they'll be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. So I'll probably go mid-table fodder as well. I think that's fair. So I'm going to go 15th for Bristol City.
15th for Bristol City, yeah, and 16-1 to go up. So that is Bristol City. We're going to put them in the mid-table fodder section. So, I tell you what, should we chuck in Bournemouth now? No, we're going to wait a bit. We'll do Bournemouth a bit later on. Just not far away from Bristol City, across the Severn, Cardiff City. This really interests me because they're always there or thereabouts. Yeah. And they've got a manager that has got a lot of experience in the Championship.
They have, Mick McCarthy. A lot of experience. I felt it went so under the radar what he did at Ipswich. You've only got to look at Ipswich now. They were literally always in amongst the playoffs. And they always spent the least in the division. And now, without Mick McCarthy, they're in League One, struggling to get out of there. So I think that says a lot about Mick McCarthy. And I think Cardiff got some good players. Kiefer Moore up top. Sure, a lot of...
He did well in the Euros, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I remember him scoring in the Euros. I remember thinking, you know what, they've got people like our own David Brooks sat on the substitutes bench here because they're not playing Bell through the middle because they've got Kiefer Moore and he was a handful. And he scored a lot last season. I think he hit 20. He was definitely close to 20, if not. I think if he gets a full season, they've got goals there. They're my kind of... I don't know if they're a surprise package because I think they're a decent sized club. They were in the Premier League not too long ago, but I think they're my tip to do really well and push the top two. So I'm actually going to put them in third. So playoff position for Cardiff.
Wow, well, they finished 8th last season and 5-1 to go up. Be really interesting to see what happens there. And always a decent away day as well. And I think that was on a weekend as well. Swansea, the other Welsh club, that's on a midweek, so not so good. So from Cardiff City, we'll go to Coventry City as well. This one's really hard. I never expect them to pull up any trees, but...
They done quite well last year, I thought, in the sense that
they did do all right.
Don't get me wrong, they didn't come high or anything. What was it? They come about 16th or whatever it was. I think 16th, 17th, and they just got promoted, so they'd rip your hand off for that. But they never really flirted with relegation, in my opinion. I never felt they were ever going to go down. They're quite comfortable, weren't they? Yeah. I felt they were quite a brave side actually. Like they weren't a side that come up and tried to defend. I thought they tried to play. So
they were really open.
Yeah, and I respect them for that because it reminds me of us a little bit, in previous years. So quite like Coventry. I do think they'll struggle because I think the calibre of teams in the division and team strengthening, etc., etc. But I think they'll have enough. But I'm going to go literally I'm going to put them in at 21st. So that is going to be flirting with relegation. But I think they're going to have enough.
Yeah. So not as good as their previous season on 16th, but 16-1. To go up Coventry City, and I tell you what, that's probably about right. And look, if you're watching this as a Cov fan or any of the other clubs, let us know where you think we're right or we're wrong. And you know what, we're open to debate. So leave us some reasons why you think your club will be. Look, we could do a new video by taking your opinions on board. We can, if you want us to. A club that finished in that exact same position, 21st last season, was Derby County.
Of course.
And their final day last season was a bit harem-scarum, wasn't it? Because they were down, they were up, they were down, and survived by the skin of their teeth. And I don't know about Derby, and another big club that should be nowhere near where they are, but they are.
It feels like they've missed that opportunity to go up, doesn't it? They had so many years just knocking on the door, and they'd fall away, wouldn't they, the last few weeks of the season. Last season they were so lucky. Still remains to be seen what's going to happen in terms of Wayne Rooney and him as a manager. He certainly didn't set the world alight when he went there, and like I say, they struggled and only just stayed up ahead of Wickham. Very fortunate, I felt. I think it was a point in the end. And I just what I've seen of them, I'm trying to, you think of Derby, you think, well, they must be up there. And I thought that last season, but you look at the players, you look at an inexperienced manager at the end of the day, and they were really poor last time around. So I think they're going to struggle. Similar to Coventry, I do think they'll just have enough. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than Coventry. I'm going to put them in 18th, but still flirting with relegation, I think.
Still flirt with relegation, 16-1 as well.
Same as Coventry.
Yeah, same as Coventry. Interesting. Right. First team that we've had that's relegated from the Premier League. Scott Parker, obviously, was managing them before he jumped ship to Bournemouth, who he obviously thinks has got a better chance than us. But Fulham, this will be interesting.
Yeah, it is an interesting one because, like you say, new manager. They've gone for Silva. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, that's right. And he was at Everton and
Hull.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was always a manager that I felt that. Has he ever done it? Like, do you know what I mean? He done well at Olympiacos, I believe it was. Which is fine. He done the job, but I could win the league at Olympiacos.
Yeah.
Got the whole job, and they were worse. I think they were 3 points or something like that off relegation when he got the job, and they ended up 6 points off relegation. Yeah. So they went down. Didn't do a good job there. Went at Watford, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right. Everton, all right. I don't understand this. So I actually think that's actually going to put them in worse stead, in my opinion. Just because, it's just a personal opinion. He might do really well there, and he's going to have a good playing squad. I don't rate him that highly as a manager, and I felt that they'd have been better off with Scott Parker that we've got now. But listen, the squad they've got while recording is pretty strong. They've still got Mitrovic. I mean, whether he'll stay, I'm not sure. But at the moment, they've still got Mitrovic.
Well, he carried them to the Premier League title. That's what a lot of Fulham fans are saying. Obviously, look, we're open to what the fans are saying, and people on our Scott Parker video said, look, he did an alright job, but let's not forget that it was Mitrovic that basically got. So they're saying that they got promoted in spite of Parker, not because of him. And Mitrovic was a big reason for that. And he's a seasoned pro, scores lots of goals, and in the Championship, I'm sure he'll flourish once again. But obviously, they've got a lot of money to spend as well, with parachute payments and potential players going out the door as well. They're surely going to be up there or thereabouts, aren't they? They're
definitely going to be up there. I think Mitrovic, like you say, whether he has that form, whether he's still a player, will play a big part in that. I think a managerial change, you've got to expect a little bit of. We've seen it firsthand, haven't we? You can't expect results instantly. You can't expect like kind of that style to just come naturally, instantly, etc., etc. But I think they're going to get playoffs. I think they'll probably, their fans will think we want to get top 2, a bit like us last season. But I think they're going to have to settle for the playoffs. So I'm going to go for 5th and a playoff place for Fulham.
So they're 15 to 8, but they are favourites to go straight
Doesn't
back
surprise
up.
me, because
so
the squad.
Tom's not going with the bookies.
Nope.
But that's fine.
I'm just going to go a little bit under. I just think they're just going to have to adapt a little bit. And like I say, it's just a personal opinion. I'm not a massive fan of Silver. He could prove me wrong. But 5th, and listen, once you're in the playoffs, you've still got a chance.
Next up, a team that we've had great away days at, and we've also have had dog away days at, and it's a long old trip. Huddersfield Town. And it's a team that were Premier League not so long ago, and their first season back was not particularly great. How are they going to do now? I mean, is that them done for getting anywhere near the Premier League?
I think it is. I think it is. I think they would be happy with just mid-table Championship for a long while. They just keep losing their best players. I mean, I think Alex Pritchard was always one that I looked at as one of their better players. I think he's sort of Sunderland,
and they're League One.
And they're League One, and I just don't.
Pritchard was it like Brentford and
Tottenham before that? We were linked with him for years, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think Eddie was a fan, but Huddersfield. I got a soft spot for Huddersfield. Grandpa's originally from Huddersfield, so I've been Huddersfield. Still got family up there. So
is Tommy Elphick around those parts anymore or not?
Well, I believe it's a situation like we've had with a few players recently, like Smithy and stuff, where he is a Huddersfield player, but he's out of contract, so I think they're still in talks. But it's been his fitness, hasn't it, Tommy Elphick? So I don't know if he's going to stay there, to be honest with you. It's a real shame, because, listen, if he does stay there, then I'll want Huddersfield to do really well, because we all love Tommy. But Huddersfield, like I said, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for him, family reasons, and if they keep Tommy and stuff like that. But I'm worried about them. I am worried about. I thought they were poor. I remember it was under Jason, we beat them 5-0 at home, didn't we? And
oh yeah. They
just looked like they turned up and went, we ain't going to beat Bournemouth. Then win. I'm not sure about them. I think they've almost accepted that they've had that spell in the Premier League. They loved it. They were a pleasure to see in the Premier League, weren't they? Really good. And I think now they're kind of going, we need to, kind of start again a little bit. I think they're going to struggle, and I'm afraid to say I think they're going to go.
Oh, they're in Sia.
I'm going to go 22nd. I think they're just going to go. Yeah.
16 to 1 to go up, but yeah, Tom's going that. And you know what? Last time I went to Huddersfield, we got smashed 4-1. Junior Stanislas scored our only goal. He equalised to make it 1-1. Really coolly taken finish. And Tommy Elphick in that kind of same position. Junior Stanislas was recently about being out of contract, but I tell you what, just as an aside, good to see Junior Stanislas put pen to paper for another couple of years.
Relieved, actually, mate. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Arnie, for example. I mean, we expect him to go, but we've been looking recently, haven't we? Going, the squad looks quite good. Oh, we're lacking a bit of width. Junior Stanislas, whatever you say, a lot of people talking about him having a poor season, but go and look at the numbers, because I don't disagree that he wasn't electric in the Championship, and then you look at the numbers, and go, oh, actually they're not bad, are they? Do you know what I mean? So he will, even if he only plays half the games, he'll score goals, he'll get assists, set pieces. Good lad to have around, experience. People forget that he actually played games with Scott Parker as well, which is weird.
Yeah.
But
that's mad.
I'm glad to keep him. He clearly wanted, some sort of reassurances and that, but he said that he wanted to stay here. I don't doubt that. He's always come across well for me, so I'm more than happy to keep Junior. And I think he is still a top player when fit. It's just that when fit. Yeah. If he stays fit, mate, he'll get goals and assists, so I'm happy with that.
Right then, AFC Bournemouth. When's it going to be? Not now. We're going to do Hull City. Hull City.
Okay.
I don't know much about Hull, to be fair.
I mean, I can't say I do. It's actually one of the few clubs in the division that I haven't been to their away ground, so I'm actually looking forward to. You can't say you're looking forward to go to Hull. Apologies for all Hull fans. I've never actually been there, so that's a bit harsh. But they were strong in promotion, and they haven't been away from the Championship long, and it wasn't even long ago they were in the Premier League, to be honest. I actually think they feel a little bit more like Coventry when they got promoted. I feel like they're going to have enough. I really do. I might be wrong, but they look good. When I've only seen bits in League One, but they did look good. They got a lad called Wilkes up top, who's a good player, young player, scored some goals for him last season. I think they got some good young players coming through. I think Hull are a decent side. I think they run the club quite well. So they're not officially called the Tigers, are they?
Hull City Tigers.
Yeah. But Grant McCann, manager. I remember him playing for Barnsley, young manager. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they've got like a bit of a project, and I quite like the way they run. And there's similarities to Coventry when they come up, like I say. So I think they're going to be all right. I'm just trying to work. Yeah, I think I'm going to put them just in mid-table fodder because I'm going to go 17th.
Not quite flirt with relegation.
No, just above that, 17th.
Interested, and they are 11-1 this season. Really interesting to hear about that. Right now, here's a team that I think they got promoted not long ago, but Luton Town seems to have very much stabilised as a championship. Like I know it's based on one season,
but they impressed, didn't they?
Yeah, but I've maybe come to that conclusion from their performances against us that I thought were really disciplined, and look, they're a good side. And this season though, where will they be? Because sometimes there's a bit of a dip. You have a good season, then you have a little bit of a dip. Maybe this is that time.
Yeah, I think it's we're certainly not the type of fans that are going to say that's a given, because we know that when we finished 10th in our first championship season, we were told we're going to have a dip and we won the league. So Luton could do similar. But yeah, I thought they were, like you alluded to there, I thought they were really disciplined against us. I liked them. They had a good work ethic. They're a good side. I thought they were struck. Go on.
I remember Nick Owen in Nicholas Owen off BBC Midlands Today on one of our pre-season shows. He was saying that the manager Nathan Jones, he went away and then he came back, and he's like crucial to how good they are at the moment. I know they've signed Admiral Musquet recently. Was he Wickham?
Yeah, he was a handy player for them. And was that Stoke that he went to?
Yes, it was Stoke. Yeah, and he didn't work for him. He didn't do so well there.
Some managers are, like you say, suited to certain clubs. But and it's difficult because I don't know if it's. I kind of almost hope I'm wrong, because I quite like Luton. I like going to Luton. I quite like Nathan Jones, like you say, and they feel like they were with us in the points deduction season, weren't they? And all that. So I feel like we've kind of gone through a bit of a journey together, where had the administration and all that stuff. So I hope they do well. I just feel like there's a lot of quality in this division, a lot of experience. So I just feel like they maybe haven't got quite enough kind of championship quality yet, but I still feel like they're going to have enough to stay in the division. I think they'll develop after this season, after a couple of seasons in it. But I think it's going to be a tough season for them. I think they'll be okay. They'll probably flirt with relegation a little bit. So what should we say? 19th? Yeah, I'm going to go 19th.
19th. Yeah. Okay, 14-1. We are exactly halfway through. We've done 12 teams. We still haven't done Bournemouth, but there are reasons why you should subscribe to this channel. Not least me not being able to say subscribe.
No, that was poor. That was very budget from you.
Get on board. So join us for this season by pressing the subscribe button, and once you do, the little bell icon comes active, and then whenever we do a video, we will notify you as to when exactly we put it out. Right then, next 12 teams to go. Borough, Middlesbrough.
I think they could be strong.
Do you reckon?
I think they could be strong. Where did they finish last year? They were about mid-table, just above mid-table.
10th.
Yeah, and they would come in, and I just feel like Neil Warnock's there. Top gaffer Neil. I love Neil Warnock. I know people, he's a bit love and hate, but he's a good character, and he knows the championship. He might not be like kind of top tier manager, but he knows the championship. Borough, I mean, they've got to get back up there, haven't they, at some point? I think they might be strong. I remember playing them first away game, wasn't it, last season, and we drew there.
Was that with their 1,000 fans?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. And I just felt like even then, when they weren't expected to go up and they didn't, we still went not a bad point at Borough. Do you know what I mean? They've still got that about them, and they've got some good players. You know, Borough. I still think they've got a decent squad. So I think they might do all right. You know, did they sign Ikpeaza? I believe they've signed Ikpeaza from Wickham.
Oh yeah, they have. Yeah.
Who I remember seeing at that home game when we beat Wickham 1-0.
Yeah.
Because everyone was talking about Akinfenwa or whatever, and they bought him off, bought on
Yeah,
Ikpeaza, and I thought he was another big guy. And I thought, see what, he's all right. And they went and snapped him up. I think he could be a handful in the right team, but yeah, I've got a feeling about Borough, so I think they might. I'm going to go to sneak the playoffs.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to whack them in there in 6th. Sneak the playoffs.
They're 5-1 to go up, and you know what? I love the fact that I can ask you questions, right? And I just had to. In front of me, I've got my laptop, and I had to check your comment on Ikpeaza, and you're right. It's like, how do you know this stuff? Honestly. And also you knew where they finished. I don't have a clue where most teams finish. I'll tell you what, brain box here. Millwall.
Oh, Millwall's
This is a really, really interesting one for me because I just feel as though they're never going to go down, but they're never going to go up.
It's a great shout. That's normally how I describe them, and I almost feel like they're pretty rubbish, aren't they? And I look at them and go, oh, actually they finished all right. Do you know what I mean? And I think they took a point off us, didn't they? They done all right against us.
Yeah,
so I
they
remember
did.
Definitely, it was one of Tyndall's last games. Wasn't it? But yeah, they're a decent side. They got Gary Rowett in charge, who I always thought was an upcoming manager, and then I've seen teams that have had him. I think it was Stoke that, and I've heard fans that have said, "Oh, it's really negative, quite boring, etc." I don't know if that's been the case at Millwall, to be fair, but they're kind of a hard-working team. I've always felt that, and like you said, they've always got enough.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're ever quite good enough to. They almost need like some sort of random investment to take them to the next level. I think.
Have they got Scott Malone still, or is he long gone?
I think they might have. You know. Forgot about that. I might have to put them a bit
I mean,
lower.
for that reason.
Yeah, because they done alright last season. I'm definitely going to put them lower than they did last season. But they're still going to be fine. 16th.
16th.
Which is mid-table fodder, I guess.
Mid-table fodder for Millwall. Yeah, really interesting. Right, at this stage, I think it's only right that we do Bournemouth a bit later on in the video. We're going to be doing Nottingham Forest. I mean, don't base it on your away day.
Oh, I can't put them to win the league then. I can't wait for that away day, by the way. It's the first one. Couldn't it? Forest are another one. When we were talking about the Blackburns and the Boroughs earlier, and I was kind of saying, they are a big club, and can they do it? And they always seem to. I always think, I thought they might do it this year, but I felt like I kept saying that about Leeds. Not that I wanted Leeds to do it. It felt like it kept being like when rather than if.
Yeah.
And eventually they did. I don't think they're quite going to do it, but I think they've got the right manager if they stick with him. I think Chris Hughton's a good manager. I think if they give it a few more years and they believe in Chris Hughton and don't jump ship, then I think they will get there. I genuinely do, because they're a big club.
And an ex-AFC Bournemouth connection as well.
Lewis Grabban.
Yeah.
Harry Art's still on the books. Lyle Taylor is still there as well. Grabban, I mean, I know he's not quite used, but he always gets goals though.
Yeah.
Like, he is always going to score goals. So they're guaranteed. In my opinion, they're probably going to shoot themselves in the foot, but I feel like they're guaranteed double figures there straight away. It might not be 20 like it used to be, but they're still guaranteed double figures in my opinion. I think they're going to be strong. Are they going to make it? No, I'm going to say they're going to just miss the playoffs. But I think they're on this like kind of steady rise. I think again if they stick with Chris Hughton, so I think it could be like the following season maybe. But I'm going to go for 7th. 7th, just outside. So top 10.
I get the feeling their fans will be delighted if they had a season like
I hope
that,
so,
because,
and if they are and they see me,
like,
get me a pint in the Hooters.
yeah, something to get excited about this season at the City Ground.
It's a jump, isn't it? 17th last season.
Yeah.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah, that is.
So that's probably the biggest jump I'm going to say in terms of all the clubs. So I don't know if I'm just thinking about Nottingham Forest and the stature of the football club, but I feel like it's got to be somewhere. And I do rate Hughton. I think most people rate Hughton, don't they? He's a good manager. So.
Next, we've got a team that got promoted from League One, Peterborough United. I can't even remember who's in charge there. Can you?
Who's in charge? Oh, it's Ferguson, isn't it?
Oh, Darren Ferguson.
Yeah, it is still Ferguson. Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's Adrian Durham from Talksport. That's his club, right? And he always goes on about Bournemouth. He slags off Bournemouth when he can because he knows that Bournemouth is a similar size to Peterborough. But obviously, we had our Premier League stint. Peterborough, not quite, but. They're going to be up against it this season, aren't they? They are, and they've been in the Championship not that long ago, really. I remember when they had Craig McHale-Smith banging them in. Do you remember? Not that long ago, Peterborough. They're a decent side, and then they went down, but they've come back up, and they've done well last season. But, yeah, I alluded to it with Hull, but I think Hull have got a little bit more, and they're a bit of a bigger football club. I think Peterborough are going to struggle. I think they'll be
they'll be decent, similar to Wickham in the sense that Wickham fought really hard, but you always felt like they were going to go.
Yeah.
I think it will probably be similar with Peterborough. I think they're not going to quite have enough, mate. I'm going to go for them in 23rd. They're going relegation.
Sorry,
See ya.
Sorry, posh fans. They're in see ya. And yeah, 18 to. I mean, look, the bookmakers have pretty much along that lines as well. 18-1, and Adrian Durham is going to be even more negative.
What a shame.
On TalkSport than ever before. Right, mate. I'll give you a choice now.
Okay.
You can insert AFC Bournemouth at any stage you want from this, so it's your call. Right, so we either do Preston next or we do AFC Bournemouth.
Preston or Bournemouth. I'll tell you what, we took Ben Pearson off them, so the least we can do is let them have their go first.
Alright, Preston North End. Again, a very difficult one. It's a team that I think is kind of flirts with relegation a bit for some seasons. Sometimes they're mid-table, sometimes they're kind of up there, but they're never really in any trouble. I mean, it's the archetypal Championship side. I
feel like we can virtually just cut what we said about Millwall in the sense, like you said there, in the sense that they ain't going to go down, in my opinion, but they ain't going to go up. But to be fair to them, bloody good against us, weren't they? I thought they were. I mean, they weren't the first team to beat us, but they first team to beat us at our place.
3-2 they won, and they emerged with a lot of credit from that game. I mean, we were crap, but they made us crap.
And
at their place, I can't remember what happened at their place. Did we lose at their place?
Draw. I think that Johnson scored. Daniel Johnson, I think his name was. Yeah, I think we didn't beat them last season, definitely not. And you watch on them games, you're thinking, why are they not up there? But it doesn't always work out like that. I think I quite like Preston. I think they're quite a decent club. They give us Pearson, they are going to, joking aside, they are going to miss Ben Pearson for a full season because we've seen firsthand the quality of him.
Now, I must admit, right, I thought, because I don't know much about Preston, I've just quickly looked and I thought that Alex Neil was in charge there.
No, he went, didn't he?
Did he?
Who have they got now?
So they got Frankie McAvoy.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know a lot about him, to be fair. But yeah, they did have Neil. I couldn't stand Alex Neil, to be fair. I mean, it's not even Preston's fault. Like, we more kind of had that when he was at Norwich.
Yeah.
He said a few things. I thought he's a bit of a knobhead, isn't he?
And you get the feeling that after Ben Pearson left, and then the other Ben, who went to Liverpool, was it Ben Davis?
Oh, Davis, yeah, of course, yeah. Good
you get the feeling that they're sort of, heart got kind of ripped out, and they're probably not going to be the same next season. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be doing in the transfer market, but I don't think they're going to be making waves.
They feel like a club that if they were doing well when it comes to January, then whoever their best players would go. Do you know what I mean? And I feel for the fan base stuff with stuff like that. But they'll be. I still feel like they've got enough quality. They'll be absolutely fine in my opinion. They're a standard mid-table fodder, so that's where they're going. 14th.
14th.
That where they come last year, wasn't it?
13th. Okay. Yeah, 13th. 12-1. Right. I know that you're a big fan of James Lawrence Alcott on YouTube.
Love him.
I think he's brilliant. He's often on the Kickoff, and he's been on things like that, and he's a QPR fan. So are you going to go QPR or are we going to do AFC Bournemouth?
I think it's got to be time to do. Let's do QPR. Let's do QPR.
QPR. We've got connections with him. Mark Pugh was there for a bit.
Forget that.
They're. I don't know about QPR, mate. I don't know.
They're the.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what I like about them is the sense that when they finally went, you know what, we're going to splash the cash, they went down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that, they're that kind of go-to when it's like, you don't just have to spend loads of money to do well. I remember in the Premier League, they got Rio Ferdinand in, didn't they? Tarat. And they got all these players in, and you thought, Ravel Morrison, all these people, and they went down. But last season I saw signs. I quite like Mark Warburton. He was at Rangers, wasn't he? Brentford? Was it Brentford?
Yeah, he was at Brentford, then he went to Rangers.
Yeah. And
at the time, you're thinking, Jesus, that's a bit. But then, like Eddie Howe, linked with Celtic.
Yeah.
That's no different. But Mark Warburton, I don't know. He's obviously.
I feel like he's never let himself down though everywhere he's been. Do you know what I mean? Like comes across quite well, doesn't he?
He didn't go to Rangers in the top flight, did he? Was that when they were making their way back
I
up?
think it might have been during the progress. It might have been. Yeah, you might be right there.
I don't know.
It's not out like we're experts in Scottish football, surely, but we would have been if Eddie had gone to Celtic. But no, I think I quite like him. And last season, I kind of saw signs that, you know what? I think they're doing the right thing now, and I think they could be coming back a little bit. I thought they were just going. I feel like now they've kind of stopped that. They've stopped the rot a little bit. I don't think they're going to quite have enough. But it wouldn't shock me if they were like this. You know, Barnsley last season, bit of a surprise package got in the playoffs.
Do you reckon that's them?
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm gonna say they're not gonna quite be that, but it wouldn't shock me if they made the playoffs. I think they've got Dykes up front, Lyndon Dykes, who I know Scotland have got their 0-0 trophy from the Euros, and yeah, they're not great, but he was still playing in the Euros. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't. So I think, and he's a worker. So I think they've got some players. You got to remember last season. Well, they still done okay last season. I think they ended quite well. They come top half, didn't they? And they lost Eze, who was their main man. He went to Palace. He was their main man. They still managed to get top half. So I think they'll be similar, 8th, which is going to be 8th, top 10. So yeah, just not quite. But it wouldn't surprise me if they got playoffs.
13-2 to go up, and that's a positional improvement of 1 place from the previous season. So yeah, not bad at all. Right, next, are we going to go Bournemouth, mate, or are you going to go Reading?
Now I feel like I've got to do Bournemouth.
Oh, here we go. We
didn't even plan that.
Yeah, you didn't even plan it.
But there's no way I'll put Reading above us.
Right,
Bournemouth.
Scott Parker then, his first season in charge, and look, we're always optimistic as Bournemouth fans, but you know, when you look at it, we've got one new signing, by the way, of Marcondes. Haven't had anyone else through the door just yet. I'm sure that there are going to be new people. You know, possibly even as we put this video out, there will be. New people coming through. Look, Smith's committed, which is good. Stanislas, those were players that technically weren't on the book, so you can treat them as new signings and such. But we've still kept hold of certain players that we think are surely going to go at some point, but they're still there.
I know. If we're not talking about new signings being inevitable, which they are, then we've got to say, well, we still got Danjuma. Well, we have. I mean, I don't think we will by the end. Probably similar
just
on Lerma.
Just imagine though. We won the league. We've won the league. HMS Pistol League. But
having said that, you could have said that with Josh King. Last season, it didn't work out. I like to think Danjuma, he wouldn't be any benefit to him if he did stay for him to just throw in the towel, would it? But, you know, regardless, say we do lose Lerma, say we do lose Danjuma, the squad's still strong. The manager's still highly thought of. I quite like the early signs we've seen. I mean, for fans that are watching this that aren't Bournemouth fans, just a couple of friendlies, the intensity's been good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been really good.
We lost to Granada 2-1. It was quite a hard fought game, and then we played another team that I'm not going to try and pronounce in Spain, and we beat them quite comfortably. But we've given a lot of youngsters a chance, and I feel like there will be a few youngsters that will get more of an opportunity. But the key thing I think has been the intensity and the pressing high up the pitch, and we've got the players to do that. We've still got so much quality, mate. We really have. So, like you say,
But is it enough to better the likes of West Brom, Fulham, Sheffield United, and let's also think of the managers as well. Like West Brom have got the ex-Barnsley Ishmael. Sheffield United,
Jukanovic.
And on our tier list, you kind of. I mean, obviously we've not come to those sides yet, so it'd be really interesting to see where you place them. But in terms of the managers that we wanted, and in terms of those that have done it before, you know, Jukanovic has done it with Watford.
Yep.
Have we got enough
at Barnsley?
Yeah, have we got enough to better those in terms of, you know, end of the season in the autos? Or, I mean, what do you think? Yeah, top 10 playoffs.
I mean, you know me. I want to say we're going to win the league. I don't think we will, because I mentioned it earlier with new manager. You have got to appreciate there's going to be a bit of time to adapt. There's going to be a new style with Scott Parker, even more so than Tyndall. Because Tyndall was still part of the staff.
True,
so, and there's new staff there now, more than we've experienced for years. So that you have got to give a bit of leeway to that. I do think Scott Parker's a long-term vision and project and things like that, but he wants us to go up. He's going to have the players. He is going to have, whoever comes in, he is going to have a squad that should be top 6 minimum. Just like last season. We've just done it last season. I think we'll be a little bit stronger this season because I think there's a little bit more clarity. I think with Tyndall it was kind of like, let's give this a go, see how it goes. I think with Parker we're going, we trust this guy long term. We know we've wanted him for a while. Trying to be unbiased though, I don't think we're quite going to get the top 2, but tiny bit stronger than last year. And I'm going to go 4th playoffs. 4th. I'm going 4th, mate.
But when you think of last season, we had that. We could have finished had we beaten Stoke in that last game, we'd have finished 5th, which is only one position less than what you've just said. But it felt to me like last season was really fucking inconsistent, and it felt as though we never had it. I mean, yes, we had those 7 runs in a row, wins in a row, but it felt like really stop-starty.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, to me, like, to have another season like that under a new manager like Scott Parker, where there's so much expectation, it would almost feel like a failure.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult with them expectations. I almost feel like it's weird to say it, but because we had that unbeaten run at the start of the season where there were too many draws. Let's be real. There's too many draws, but we were the last team unbeaten in England. So when we did lose and we did go on that back, it looked worse because we're like, oh, it's always coming. Look at it now; it's all falling apart. When it hadn't really, we kept saying that we were unbeaten. We weren't. There was a lot of games we weren't looking very good. The expectation's difficult. I think top 6 is minimum again. And don't get me wrong, I'm predicting 4th. Would I take it? Maybe not, because I do think the players we're going to have available are more than capable of winning that league. Definitely, but I'm just trying to be a bit more realistic.
We might find that on the eve of the start of the season, we might be feeling completely different with regards to the incomings that we've had. But I think 4th at this point is fair enough. And look, 10-3, and I'm not a betting man. And to me, like 10-3 is a time on a clock. I don't even know what that means, but we're up there.
It's saying top 6, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's fair. But we're too good not to be top 6, in my opinion. If we don't come top 6, Parker's going to lose his job, in my opinion, because of the squad we got. Whether he will, because it's definitely a long-term plan, like I said. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we definitely should get rid of him. Let's see what we see. Let's see the eye test, but. That squad, whatever squad we have, we're going to have a good enough squad for top 6. But top 2, I think, would be a real achievement in your first season at any football club.
Right, okay, next then, we'll have to go to the club that you did not want to talk about first time round, and that's Reading. Who started off unbelievably last time, and you know what, they started the first half at Dean Court unbelievably, and we were thinking, oh my god, this is going to be a hell of a horrible fixture, and then turned it around in the second half. Lewis Cook scored a wonder goal, but we did go to their place and play absolute dog, and they beat us 3-1. I think Junior Stanislas got a consolation in that one. It was not a pretty watch, but at the end of the day they came up short. Reading this time round, how are you feeling about them?
I think, to be fair, that game you alluded to there, the away game, I think that was the nail in the coffin for Tyndall. That was the game where I thought
Friday night under the lights.
I know that wasn't the game that got him the sack, but that was the one where I thought he ain't gonna last this, because it didn't look right. We didn't look right at all. I think with Reading, I feel for them in the sense, I don't, because I don't really like them that much, but I feel for them in the sense that they weren't predicted to be up there. And then everyone's talking, they let themselves down at the end, but they actually overachieved.
Yeah.
But because they were up there for so long, it looked like they underachieved. I actually think I predicted them to come relegation. I genuinely did. They had some money problems. They almost had that siege mentality that we've had in the past, didn't they? Where there was no expectations on them. They played with no fear for the first half of the season and were brilliant.
Do you feel as though when they do go up, it's always, they haven't gone up in a while, but when they do, it's always unexpected and it comes out of nowhere?
Yeah, they're a little bit like that. And they always play decent stuff. They've always got quite young players coming through. They've lost, what was his name? Was it Elise? I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. He's gone to Palace, I believe. Vieira's taken him. So they've lost a real young kind of starlet there. They had a few in there. I think Estevas has signed permanently now. He was on loan, I think maybe from Porto. They still got a decent squad. I think they overachieved last season.
And let's face it, if they've got any young, talented players there on trial at the moment, they'll probably come to us at some point during the season, so I'll be fine, right?
I like that. I think there was... Who was it? There's been someone recently that they've had on trial, and I saw a Reading fan on Twitter say, he said only a matter of time before he's linked with Bournemouth. To be fair to him, Riquelme didn't really do a lot.
You didn't miss out on much.
No, he didn't. I mean, he probably would have got more minutes for him, in fairness. We had a lot of options in them areas, but listen, I think they'll be okay. I think they overachieved last season, but they've also made me think, they're not going to be down there. They've got enough quality, so I'm going to go for the standard mid-table fodder. I'll put them in 13th. It's an unlucky number. I don't really like them that much. Yeah, okay, unlucky number 6-1 on the betting odds. Right, next, a team that's got relegated from the Premier League, Sheffield United. Aaron Ramsdale looks as though he's going to Arsenal, or is it happened? Is it happening? £30 million? I mean, a Rambo, and we get what, 15% of that? I believe so. It seems mental that Arsenal were.
Fair play, we'll take that.
Yeah, it seems mad they let Emmy Martinez go for less, but I think it is what we spoke about before. You're paying for potential, aren't you? He's so young for a goalkeeper. We know how long goalkeepers go on for. We've seen that with Artur Boruc. But Ramsdale, I can imagine Arsenal fans going, "Why are we spending this?" Blah blah. He's not an amazing side, and they don't think, but he's a good goalkeeper. We know that. And 2 relegations are really harsh to have on his CV. Yeah. But Sheffield United in general they were gone last season. It felt like after about a month, didn't it? I mean, they just had that second season syndrome.
But badly. I mean,
really badly.
Really bad.
And they were pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. They were pathetic in the Premier League. I mean, there was talk of them having the worst ever for parts. But new manager, I think, has been a real shrewd one.
Well, he was on our tier list, and we had him up there with Wagner and a few others. I'd have been happy to have him.
I rate him. I do rate him. I thought what he done at Watford was brilliant. I think he comes across as a manager that takes no prisoners, gets the best out of his players, and he's going to have, like I say, with the parachute payments, stuff like that. And yes, they struggled in the Premier League. They were awful last season, but they've still got some good players. And whether Mousset will play a part or if he'll be too busy down, having a takeaway or whatever, they're still going to be strong. And I think I kind of looked at them and thought, I'm not sure. Are they going to bounce straight back? I'm not sure. And then they appointed Jukanovic, and I thought that's enough for me to convince me that I think they will. I still think I think they're quite a good unit. I think they're going to do it. Second. I'm going for them automatic, and I'm basing that quite big on the manager. But I'm going second.
9-4 on your betting slip. Right, not many to go now. We got 4 sides left, 3 sides left. One of which is Stoke City.
Stoke.
Always hate a wet Tuesday night in Stoke, and yeah, I think we've got that again.
We've got them on a Tuesday night, haven't we?
Yeah, wet or Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's one of them, but it's one of those times
horrible
of year as
game.
well. It's not the best. It's the stereotypical fixture against them. But you know what? We all looked at that last game of the season against them, thinking, probably 1-0, 2-0 Bournemouth, and then they turned us over. I don't know if they made us play bad or we were just crap. I don't quite know. I don't think it helped with the way we went into some of those last games with resting a certain bunch of players on the game before against Wickham, and then we were cold against Stoke and we looked cold. And I remember, I did the watch along with you for that game.
Yeah, we did.
And you almost predicted it when the corner came in. Yeah. And then it happened, and then they scored, and then they scored again in the second half. And at that point, we knew we were playing Brentford, and it was almost like our season came to an end, even before it did come to an end. But always a difficult side. I don't think they're going to be down there.
No, I agree.
But I don't think they're going to be up there.
I agree. I think they're almost turning now, obviously, them seasons in the Premier League, but they're also almost turning into that kind of standard mid-table Championship club now, which I don't think, they had a great spell in the Premier League, didn't they? Done really well. So I don't think the fans will, be that fussed with that. They're still a decent side. So Neil now, isn't it, the manager?
And he was like the Northern Ireland manager.
That's the one, yeah. So I think that's a decent manager to get in. I like it when clubs like Stoke now almost are like not accepting, because that sounds negative, but acknowledging the fact that we did have a spell in the Premier League, but we're not a Premier League club, so we don't need to get a stopgap manager. Let's go and get a manager that's a bit more long term, and I think they're doing that now with O'Neill. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a couple more years in the Championship and then they start going for it again. But I think it's going to be similar this time around in terms of mid-table. So I'll put them at 12.
12.
There you go.
Yeah, they finished 14th last season.
Mate.
As you said. So they're 15-2 to go up this season. And you know what? I don't think there's any point in playing the fixtures now, because I think you've got it sewn up completely, mate.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think next up, penultimate on our list, Swansea City. We're playing them on a Tuesday night, I think. So it's a shame.
Decent away day, because shame it's Tuesday.
I'd have liked to have a weekend there and staying in the Travelodge and going up and down the strip. But anyway, Swansea City. Thoughts, mate?
Well, quite recently, when we're recording this, it looks like the manager might be going. Cooper looks like he might be leaving the club. Back to back playoff places. Haven't got out of it, but they've been in that top 6 for 2 seasons in a row now. But it looks like he might be leaving. We're obviously rumoured to get Freddie Woodman in on loan, aren't we, for a goalkeeper? Because it looks like he would rather us than Swansea, which immediately, if I was a Swansea fan, rings alarm bells. They finished above us.
I think managerial appointments do spell out the ambition of a club more than anything else.
Definitely.
Honestly, it really does.
I always felt like, I remember when we got Lewis Cook at Bournemouth, He was obviously at Leeds, big football club, so highly thought of. We know he's had injuries since. And everyone thought, God, how have Bournemouth managed to get him? Eddie Howe factor. You know, sometimes a young player looks at the manager and thinks, he can develop me. And Eddie had proven that he can develop players. And whether Scott Parker, it does seem like really well thought of, isn't he? So whether that's why a goalkeeper would want to come in and play on loan potentially. But Swansea, yeah, that would concern me if I was a Swansea fan. Manager looks like he's going to go. Might have gone by the time this goes out. The goalkeeper that got I think he got the best record last season in terms of goalkeepers in the division, would rather go to a team that finished below us. It would concern me if I was Swansea. And it's a difficult one. You've got to appreciate, if you're a Swansea fan listening to this, that you finished higher than us, so you were decent. We can see that. But when you played us, you were rubbish. Right? We battered you with Woodgate at home, and the away game was 0-0. Yeah. But literally, they played for a draw all game. I don't know how we didn't score.
Oh, what are they? Yeah.
And I thought, how negative are they at home? But like I say, in the other games, they obviously performed alright because they was above us. But going off what I saw against them, I really wanted them in the playoffs. Put it that way. I think all fans wanted Swansea, didn't we?
Yeah, because we thought, okay, well, that's a gateway to Wembley.
To the final, yeah. So, yeah, I think, don't get me wrong, they've still got good players, so they'll be absolutely fine. They'll be minimum mid-table. But I don't think they're going to be strong enough to get the playoffs this year. They've done it 2 seasons in a row. I don't think they're going to be strong enough this year. So I'm going to go for... They'll still get top 10, so I'll go 9th. 9th for Swansea.
9th.
Yeah.
Okay, so 9-2 to go up Swansea. And finally on our list, we've got West Bromwich Albion, team that got relegated from the Premier League. And as I think there's a certain position that's not been mentioned in the league. So you're saying that West Brom are champions, mate?
Yeah, didn't plan that. It was alphabetically West Brom. I think they're going to win the league. I think they've still got a good squad. I like the appointment. I think what Ishmael did at Barnsley was unbelievable. And I don't want to take any credit away from the Barnsley players because they've got some bloody good players.
So who did they have before Ishmael?
Before Ishmael, they had...
Sam Allardyce, was it? Or was that a while ago?
They did have Allardyce, yeah, because they had Bilic when they went up, didn't they? They got rid of Bilic, they got Allardyce in as like a stopgap or whatever to try and keep him up. Didn't happen. So they've gone a bit more long term now. I quite like that, I suppose. Yeah. I always felt like Bilic should get more of a chance, to be honest with you. But listen, that's a good appointment because what he did at Barnsley, Ishmael, was unbelievable. And I remember us saying when we played them, we lost to them, didn't we, under Woodgate? And I remember he made like a treble change at half time.
Oh yeah, and it's all about
keeping them fresh, their intensity levels, and as I say, Barnsley had the players deserve credit, but Ishmael was a really top manager. I thought he's a manager that's going to go on to bigger and better things. No disrespect to Barnsley, and I think West Brom have done really well to get him in, and they've still got quality. They've still got the parachute payments, but hopefully they won't win the opening day because
fingers crossed.
And to be fair, I look at West Brom and I think they've got to be one of the favourites. I think they're going to win the league. There's a reason why us v them on the opening days on the telly, and that's because they think that we're 2 of the big teams, the big boys.
I think the Norwich have got themselves a nickname of Yo-Yo Club because it's happened so many times. I think that if West Brom go up, this tag is going to be going with them as well.
Definitely.
Yo-Yo Club, because it's not happened enough. So maybe this time will be it. But I think you're right. 2-1 to go up, and there we go. There is the tier list. It's on screen now. What are you thinking? There we go. West Brom and Sheffield United in the autos. The playoffs made of Cardiff, Bournemouth, Fulham and Middlesbrough. And then we go down to the bottom and it's see ya for Huddersfield, Peterborough and Blackpool. What are you thinking? Let us know in the comments. Feel free to agree or disagree. And look, if you're a fan of a championship club and you're watching this just passing along, feel free to subscribe because we're going to be coming to your club. Get a load of video content. We'll be we'll be talking about your club, so subscribe. Why not? And when you come down here, look at where we're at. Look at this beautiful place. We're in the Firkin Shed. It's a family-run and curiously award-winning pub in the heart of Springbourne in Bournemouth, which is it's like a 5-10 minute walk to the ground. Craft beers, lots of lovely ales, bitters and a whole lot more. A beer garden to boot. It's small but it's worth coming to if you fancy having a drink before the game or even after the game as well. It's very friendly and we've had a lovely time today, haven't we, mate?
Yeah, it's lovely, mate. It's nice little garden. I love a good. You know when you go to a pub and you think, have they got a nice beer garden? I like that, and it is really nice. And
you know what I like about it? It's the Mediterranean feel.
It is a little bit. I tell you what, it's a bit unique to other beer gardens, isn't it? I quite like the style of it. So no, definitely. And like I say, if I'm not personally, but there's loads of ales in there. Blooming hell, loads of them in there.
Absolutely, tons. So if you're into something different, then this is a definite. And look, if you're an away fan, all good with away fans, as long as you're not rowdy and you like to get on and just have a couple of beers.
Didn't they say as long as they've subscribed though?
Oh yeah. Subscribe to the channel first, and then you'll be allowed in.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's all good. But anyway, Paul and the crew here will take care of you, so make sure you come to the Firkin Shed. It's on our away day guide actually, so check out that video. And thank you so much for watching. That's the league table then, sorted.
Sorted, mate. If I got that bang on, I mean, that would go viral if I got that bang on.
Right, okay. End of season challenge, right?
Yeah.
We'll have like a load of shots.
Okay.
At the end of the season, how many positions can you be off for us to have a shot? So like 4 either way or something?
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take 4 either way. I'm confident. I mean, there's always the odd one. I mean, I'm sure there was loads of people last season that after Sheffield United in the Premier League thought, oh, they're a good team, and then they go bottom of the league. That'll cost you. I feel like I know I've got it bang on, but I feel like I'm quite happy with it. Unless someone pulls up trees, fair play. But I feel like I've done alright. To be fair, I got a lot of stick because I said Bournemouth were going to win the league, right? And that was just me putting positive this last year. Yeah. But if you want to go back to when we've done that, we've done it during a watch along. We've done a tier list. We've done the league table, and I said Barnsley might make the playoffs. A little surprise shout there, and everyone went, right? Okay, so give me some credit for that. But yeah, Bournemouth didn't win the league, but I was trying to be positive, all right? I've put them 4th this year, and
all right, four either way. So look, we said West Brom will finish first. If they come 5th, we're both doing a shot, all right?
Yeah,
and you know what? But that works either way, right? So 10th, 4 either way, and if we're out at the end of the season, we're doing a shot.
If any of the teams that
hopefully we'll be very sober.
If any of the teams that come below Bournemouth come above Bournemouth, I'll do 2 shots. Alright? We're going up this year. It's happening. Fans are back in there. The fortress of Dean Court. Scotty Parker's Barmy Army. We're going back to the Premier League, mate.
Going back to the Premier League. Alright, well, look, thanks guys for watching. Really appreciate you coming on Back of the Net. And again, for AFC Bournemouth and Championship content, we're going to be here this season with myself, Tom, Neil, Jeff and Tig. So until the next video, up the Cherries.
Up Cherries. Spot on. Nice one.